Hey, welcome back to the show, everyone. This week we've got a guest from the Far East, from Taiwan. This is Todd Sullivan. He's a creative writer specializing in drama series in Taipei, Taiwan. Is that right?
Right, yeah, Taipei, Taiwan.
Yeah, awesome, great. And so, yeah, just talking about how you got into the sort of drama and writing for that. Where did you start off, and what did you do to get into that area?
So to get into the drama, web drama, just out of the blue, someone here Taipei has a budding film industry happening here. So
Yeah,
there are a lot of actors who are just kind of here doing plays and screenplays, and they were trying to do a web series. And out of the blue, someone kind of sent me a message asking if I would be interested in collaborating with a group of people who already live here. And my role would be actually creating a script that they could do a web series from. And I was like, all right, cool. And so I did that, and I wrote maybe 70 pages. And that 70 pages became For the God's Open Eyes. So that's actually how I became a part of that group.
awesome. And I guess your thing is the writing part of that, right? When did you realize that you was a writer in the industry? What was there any calling signs, or was there any sort of flags that looking back you're like, yeah, that this is how I knew I was a writer?
But I've been writing for a very long time, and I actually have two book series out, and this is just two novella series. And so I've been publishing for the past 8 years, but this is my first foray into actually screenwriting.
Yeah,
And that started again just when I came here. I think in road signs, if you look at a lot of the reviews for my books, you'll see that a lot of people say that they kind of remind them of movies, that they seem that they should be a movie. And so I think my writing kind of lends itself to the film or the screen.
yeah. Oh, cool. And so are you a sort of like self-taught writer, or is there any sort of professional qualifications or sort of degrees or anything?
Yeah, I have a bachelor's in English, a master's in creative writing.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
also did the National Book Foundation and Bread Loaf, which are these two kind of well-known programs in America. So your audience may not have never heard of them. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I've actually studied, like I write genre fiction, which is science fiction, fantasy, horror. But
yeah.
my schooling is in academia. So most of my writing has a bit of a literary edge to it, but it's still fantasy, science fiction, horror.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And I guess what's the scene like in the Far East? Does it compare differently and to anywhere else you've done writing?
I mean, my first stories take place in Korea because I was in Korea for 10 years. And
Yeah.
I've been in here in Asia for 11 years altogether. So it's like my first publishing writing happened in Korea. So all my fiction that's been published takes place in Korea. So I don't
Yeah.
really know how to compare it to what would be to publish in America. It's only been publishing here in Asia.
Yeah.
And no, it's basically the same. I mean, my publishers are located in America, so it's basically the same thing. Just the subject material is different from, I suppose, what I've been writing if I was actually writing in America.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And how do you find like the web only dramas? Do they find their own audience? How
No,
does it?
for
No.
everything you hustle, you're always trying to promote yourself, and so the hope is that if you create content that's engaging enough, more and more people will look at it. Like that's the hope. But no, you always are trying to find out. You're trying to identify an audience, and so I had the audience in mind when I started this group, and there was a bit of a conflict because they had a kind of a different audience in mind, so we kind of went back and forth. But I had my
Yeah.
own audience in mind, and so we tried to get actors who were going to appeal to our two audiences that we were both going to, which is
Yeah.
why if you look at the web series, you see that there are kind of Westerners in there, and then there's also kind of people from this part of the world too. And so that's basically how we're trying to appeal to a wider audience by trying to figure out what each different type of person wants to see, and then
Yeah.
what type of actors they also want to see. And then we just do more of that and less of what doesn't exactly work as well.
Yeah, okay. And I guess for the actual production of the drama, have you been working with this sort of production crew for a while now? I know that you've got a recent film out.
No, it's been relatively short. Like I've been here in Taiwan for about 11 months,
Yeah,
11 to 13 months. And it's been a relatively short experience. I mean, we moved really fast. Like we came up with the idea probably about 3.5 months ago. And from there, we just started shooting. Well, I did the writing and then they just started shooting. So it happened really fast because for people who have ever done something similar like this before, it's very easy for it to go off the rails because kind of a big group of people are working together, but they need to keep working together for an extended amount of time.
yeah,
And so you just try to do as much as possible, as quickly as possible, in order to make sure that actual things get done.
yeah. And the actual writing process, is that always being refined during that sort of production, or is there any last minute changes that you have to do?
There's always last minute changes because, like for instance, right now it's raining quite a lot. But I started writing this. Well, right now it's raining quite a lot and it's cool outside. The weather has dropped for Taiwan. But I wrote
Yeah,
this in the summer when it was extremely hot and the humidity was extremely high. And so you had to change that because in the rain, the characters always complain about the heat because that's what I was thinking about constantly when I was writing it. But now when they're actually filming, A, it's raining all the time, and B, people, even if the characters are wearing like a short sleeve shirt, but the people around them that might be caught in the camera are wearing like long jackets and things like this. So you have to change, and then the heat was actually important for the narrative itself. So yeah, things are constantly changing depending upon the location that you get, and then the time they actually shoot to shoot the episodes. So it's constant changing.
yeah. Okay. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the if the global pandemic has affected anything that you're doing at the moment, whether that's production or whether that's where the sort of film is being released. Did that play a part at all?
Here in Taiwan, not quite so much. Our group is relatively small, so it's not like there's like 100 people that you're trying to deal with. It's a relatively small group, and here in Taiwan, the pandemic, though it, of course it affected them or this country. It's not nearly as intense as it is in different places around the world,
Yeah,
and so there's a lot more freedom to kind of do things as a group, whereas than perhaps somewhere else. So I would say it's not as if it hasn't affected, because of course it has, but it probably hasn't affected nearly as much as if you were to try to do this in a different country at this point in time.
yeah. And do you think? I mean, a lot of people are sort of almost being pushed online with having to stay home and that sort of thing. So it could perhaps increase audience, with the web only aspect of it.
Right, but like I said, everything's a hustle. I mean, you're always constantly trying to find new avenues for exposure. So yeah, I mean, I suppose it may have increased the audience a little bit, but simply going out there and constantly letting people know you exist, I find is really the best way of promoting getting exposure.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess looking back, is there been any moments in your sort of writing career that's really stood out for you, or you felt a huge moments of euphoria? Any highlights that stand out for you, Todd?
Probably the third story I had to get published, which was maybe I've been getting published for 8 years, so maybe about 6 years ago. Because the first time it happens, it could be a fluke. The second time, it could be just kind of still luck. But by the third time, you have a pretty good idea that you have what someone actually wants to pay for. I mean,
Yeah.
whether or not I hope it's good, but the fact that people put down the money really shows something about the quality of what you're doing. And so I think probably the third published work is when I knew that I had a way of writing that people would be willing to put down not just a compliment but also their money behind. So it's the same thing with the web series. Like the web series is of course being produced by someone, and so yeah, it's probably the third publication that I knew I had something of some type of value.
Okay. And is there always are you always looking to the next project whilst you're still working on an existing one? Do you have to think about your next moves whilst you're currently in a project, or do you have a bit of a gap sometimes between?
I'm actually going to quote Kevin Bacon here. He was
Right.
on. I watched a lot of interviews actually, and
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon so that he's always working on 10 projects at one time. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. But if you work in this type of thing, you look at what there's a lot of pauses and a lot of, it just seems like people take a very long time to get things done when it's like entertainment. And so I have like different things, not 10, I wish it was 10, but several lined up. And I can always just kind of bounce back and forth once there's a pause in one thing. Then I go to something else. But I am always looking for something else to do just because the amount of time it takes to get everything done and like publishing and entertainment.
Yeah. And I guess for you, Todd, what's the measure of success for your writing career? What really does it for you?
I think it's what I said before. So as long as, again, if someone could give you a compliment, and that's fantastic, compliments are nice. But when someone actually is willing to put down their money behind something you're creating, then I feel like you really have done something. I mean, you're trying to always get like more and more, like someone to put down a bit more money each time. But yeah, so I think that's a measure of success for me. As long as someone is more than just saying that's nice, but then also saying, and we're going to actually produce this, or we're going to actually pay you for it, that's success, because that's actually extremely difficult to achieve.
Yeah, awesome. And I always like to ask guests, if you could tell your sort of 18-year-old self something now, what would it be?
I mean, it's kind of cliche, but just do it. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. A lot of people shy away from things because they don't really know how it's going to go, and so they don't do it. And that's probably when I was younger, that was a lot of me. But yeah, I mean, don't do that. Just go ahead, and no matter how you look, I'm sure you get through it, and the experience will probably be worth it, and then you might do a lot better than you thought you were going to do. So just do it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And where can we find you or look at your new film, Todd? I understand it's on YouTube. Is that right?
Right, it's on YouTube. If you do For the God's Open Eyes, Taipei, Taiwan, a web drama, Taipei, Taiwan. But actually, just Google my name, Todd Todd Sullivan, Sullivan. Right now, there's actually quite a lot of information because again, I'm constantly doing stuff like this. So there's actually a lot of information about me just by Googling my name. But you can also look at YouTube. You can look at Facebook, Todd Sullivan, Instagram. Todd Sullivan Instagram would be enough, and then also Twitter. But my handle is DENEVIUS, Denevius.
Yeah. Okay, that's brilliant. Well, I'd just like to say thank you, Todd. It's been a great insight into sort of the creative writing world for me and the audience. So thanks again.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been cool.
Yeah. Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Yeah, that was the segment. So that was, and for me, I've never spoke to any sort of writers before, so it's been great talking with you.
Oh yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So is it how many episodes in the series? Are you going to do many episodes, or is it?
Well, that's the thing, because now there's a pause. So
right, yeah.
now I'm doing something else. But it's 5 in film. There's 6 on the way. There's one more on the way. And there should be, I think, 13 altogether. But there's a pause now, so I'm actually popped on to a different thing for now until it starts up again.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, what I'll do with the podcast, I'll take the audio and sort of edit it down and stuff, and then probably going to launch the episodes end of January, February time.
Okay.
So when I know the order of the episodes being released, I'll drop you a message just to let you know which episode it'll appear in, sort of thing.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Enjoy your day.
All right. Goodbye.